Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, friends, for joining us today. This will be our 21st session of 2024, Parables and Allegories. In today's subject, inshallah, we will cover one of the main principles, and that is that Allah have never left any humanity, any of his creation, without the light, without the book, and without the guidance. I will explain what does it mean without the book. Allah, the most merciful, from the very beginning, from the time of Adam, or we can say from the time at the beginning of this earth, which we call our home. He created the nur, the light, for the earth. And for all of the creation in between. As Allah says, I am the light of the heaven and the earth. I am the light of the heaven and the earth. Then he appointed, he guided, or he gave this light, this nur, to each one of his prophets. And if we understand that there has been 124,000 messengers, prophets that Allah have sent on the earth to guide the humanity. What does it mean he sent? Did this prophet come from some other earth, some other planet, some other creation other than the human creation? Allah also guide us towards this understanding that there always has been amongst us ulil amra minkum, those who are with the amr amongst you. If we understand so far that Allah have and always have and always will be guiding the humans through his nur, and this nur he has sent with his chosen and selected We can say chosen and selected mu'minin, or we can say hudud-e-din, or we can say khalifas. So many different vocabulary words we can use. Pegambar, Rasul, Aimai Tairin, Arifin, Ulil Amr, and so many other that we would find words, names, titles within the Quran. If that is true, and that is our belief, that Imam, the prophets, the messengers, they all have been sent and appointed and given the Amr along with the light, the Nur, then we must believe that that is always the case. It is not that it was only at the beginning of the time or in the middle of the time or one time but not the other. The guidance and the Nur and the light was there, and then all of the sudden Allah decided not to appoint, send a guide with the Nur to the Mu'mineen, to the humanity. To the Mu'min, to the Mu'mineen or the humanity. But then, how would we count for that Allah is Rahman and Rahim, and that attribution of Allah was true in the time of Adam, in the time of Khatam, and even today? Because then we would have to ask question, did Allah's rahmat and mercy upon human, the promise of Allah that I will always guide you, the promise of Allah that I will call you upon your Imam, how will we ever count for any of that? My brother and sister, my friends, Allah does not break his promise, nor does his habit changes. These three surahs, Mafi, these three ayat in the Surah Al-An'am combinedly and collectively gives us a complete book, a written guidance, a full picture how Allah have always appointed and how he always have sent us a nur and we will read more about that, and have sent a book, the book of guidance, along with the Nur and the guide, along with the Nur and the guide, and how he brings us from the darkness of the ignorancy into the mercy, into the light, into the Nur, into the recognition of him. Allah Almighty, according to his habit, always have sent his guide, his guidance, and his Nur through Ulil Amr. Ulil Amr minkum, amongst us. He never have stayed detached from the humanity. How does he connect with the humanity? Through his Nur, through his guide, and then through his books. And all three combinedly needed to be a complete guidance from Allah. Let's say that Allah sent the light, but not book and nor the guide. The light, the Nur itself, how would it guide us unless this Nur was spoken or a speaking and a living Nur? Let's take another example. Let's say he sent a book, but no Nur and no guide with it. Then without the light, how would we be able to see, read, and understand the guidance in the book? Then let's take one and the last example. Someone can argue that he must have sent the light, which no one can refuse, as it is light and bright outside. And that is the light of the sun, not the light as the Nur of Allah. Let's just take their argument for a second. And he sent the book. So now with this light of the sun, we can see and we can read the book. That would be a good argument. And I would accept that with a question. And that would be, have we ever seen any book come to the humanity, Mu'minin, without a guide? Torah with Musa, Zabur with Dawood, Injil with Isa, and Quran with Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have never seen a book without a guide. Now that you are thinking, or you may ask yourself, and that's a question for you to ask yourself, and maybe if you wish, I could answer that question. And that is, after the Nur, which came with the Khatamul Anbiya, he was the guide and the Nur at that time. And then book, the Quran, also was revealed and came with him. But after him physically leaving this world, somehow Allah decided that human no longer needs the Nur or the guide, but just the book. Does that make any logic to you? And that's the question you should ask yourself. The last ayat on this page, and then we will go ayat by ayat. We will try to understand each ayat from this surah Al-An'am. In ayat number 122, and remember, combinedly these three ayat gives us a full picture. He sent the Nur, he appointed the Nur, he sent the book along with that Nur which he appointed, and he sent the guide and the guidance in the form of human, Ulil Amr Minkum. And then the last, the ayat number 122. Allah brought him, the guide, to life, who now walks among you in humanity with his Nur. So now, completely three together, Allah appointed the Nur with the guide, and along with him, he sent the book. Before we received this light, this book, and this guidance, our example were like a dead person, an ignorant person, walking in the darkness of the ignorancy, without understanding the true submission, the Islam, and we were not submissive Muslim. But by sending those three things to us, he brought us to life. And now with this ilm, with this nur, and with this guide, Mu'mineen are walking amongst the human, and it was Allah to give us this true life, not the life of animal, vegetation, and the mineral, but to give us the true human life. He sent those three things to us so we may become alive. That is true for the prophets first, Imai Tyrene second, and then Mu'mineen who follows them and believe in them and take this ayat as their guide. It is true for them. So let's take each ayat and see how do we build on these three ayat. Surah Anam, ayat number 1. Question: who has created the heavens and the earth? And who has made, appointed the light and the darkness? In this verse, Surah 6, ayat number 1, Allah says, praise to be Allah, who has created the heavens and the earth, and has appointed darkness and the light, the nur. Yet those who disbelieve ascribe rivals unto their Lord. In this verse, Allah is praised on account of the fact that He created the heavens and under them the earth. You notice the word is heavens, not heaven, heavens, and under them the earth. The tawil of the heaven is the higher rank. Heavens, all of the higher ranks. In example, aklekul, nafsekul, natik, asaz, and aimai tyrene. And under them, the earth. And tawil of that is mu'mineen. And He created darkness and against them appointed the light. Allah initially, and listen to this tawil and parable, so you may have more better understanding about the creation of the darkness. Allah created darkness and against them appointed the light. Every human are born in 7 darkness. And to bring this humanity, the best creation of Allah, He appointed, He created, and He sent the Nur to bring us out of the darkness into the light. This means that God created the world of religion, which also contains within itself the heavens, the earth, the darkness, and the light. The importance of the light is that without it, the world of religion will vanish, just as it is a fact that without the material sun in the center of the material solar system, it would become dysfunctional and perish. For the substance and the order of the latter depend on the former. Similarly, the substance and the order of the world of religion depends on the nur of imamat, which is the sun of the world of religion. As the farmers depends, human, animal depends on the light and the warmth of the sun in the physical and material world. Just like that, the world of religion and the Mu'mineen depends on the Nur of Imamat, which is the light, the sun of the world of religion. We had taken this from the Allama Sahib's book, the Imam Shanasi, the recognition of Imam. It is translated in English and page 44, 45. Let's connect with the next ayat within this surah. This reference also comes from Allama Sahib's book, the Sanadi-ke Jawair, the translation, Cascades of Balls, volume 1, page 147. In the form of question, writer writes and asks. It is mentioned in verse 691, say, O Muhammad, who sent down the book which Moses wrote, a light and the guidance to the people, but you make it into the separate sheets of paper. Here it is evident that prior to its revelation, the tanzil of the heavenly book is not on paper. Rather, it is living soul, a light, an angel, and a guidance for the people. Please explain to us where the Torah was in this state, in the original state. How can the heavenly book be a light and a guidance prior to being written on the paper? Does God object to the writing of the Torah? Answer. Prior to being recorded on the paper, the Torah was in the personal world of Hazrat Musa and Hazrat Harun as a light and guidance. A heavenly book is in two forms. One in the form of nur and guidance, and the other in the form of writing on the paper. Therefore, the heavenly book is both speaking and silent. The speaking in the nur and the guide, and silent in the form of the paper and the book. There is no objection to writing of the Torah. Only objection is to ignoring its spiritual nur that came with it, and the real spiritual guide and the guidance which came with it. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam complains to Allah, Ya Rab, do you not see how my people have broken my Quran in pieces, in parts, in paper, and they broke my Quran, separated from the light and the guide, and kept it as a silent book. He complains to Allah. There is no objection in the book, the Quran, or the book Torah, or the book Injil, or the book Zabur. The objection is to leave the nur and the guide out of it. That is the objection. The book and the guide, along with the nur, supposed to and must remain together so it may guide and bring us, the mu'mineen, out of the darkness of the ignorancy into the guidance of the nur and the light. The last reference before we would stop, and this is Surah 6, same Surah, Surah Anam, ayat number 122. And is one, Allah is the one who, I'm sorry, and is the one who was dead, to whom we gave life and made for him a light by which to walk among the people. Before I go further, Allah says, it is us, not I, not me, we. We meaning Allah, the Nur, and the guide, the Imam. We gave life to them, to him, to the Mu'min, to the Arif, to those who have believed, so they may walk with our light amongst the people. Are they same as the one who have no light and walking in the darkness in complete ignorancy, never to emerge therefrom? Are they same? Of course not. Those who have been guided and given the light, and those who have refused and blocked the light and are in the total darkness, how can they be the same? Thus, what they have been doing has been made to seem pleasing to the disbelievers. Disbelievers, they just run around in the darkness like children playing without any understanding. And they think they are in the right, or they are on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. That is their ignorancy, as they cannot see outside, for which they have made the four walls, and they stay within their four wall in the darkness, in the ignorancy, and they cannot see outside in the light, in the guide, or the guidance which has been given to them. Pir Nasir Khusro, Jamil Hikmat, he explains this ayat. To know that the ignorant are like the dead, but that whoever moves from the ignorance to the ilm, knowledge, is like a dead man who comes back to life. To know that light truly is belief, that doubt, the shadows are undoubtedly ignorance and error. Such are the signs of those who follow the household of Prophet Elibeth. God says, is the one who was dead and to whom we gave life and appointed for them, a nur by which he could walk among the people, like the one who is in darkness, from which he cannot come out, cannot emerge. Thus, what they have been doing has been made to seem fair to the unbelievers. Explaining this ayat further, Pir Sahib's right. From this verse, it is evident that the believers are the living and that they move amongst the people by the nur of knowledge, while the ignorant in their darkness are unknowing. Moreover, it is evident that coming back to life after that is the true promise Allah the Exalted has made to people, and that the resurrection which is mentioned in this verse is certain truth, is truth itself. Therefore, the person whose resurrection God the Exalted has mentioned in this verse is not dead, rather he is alive. Those human who within their lifetime go through this resurrection and become alive, they are truly alive, not dead. And this coming back to life pertains to all people, as Allah is Rahman and Rahim. It is our promise to show that God's resurrection of people after death means bring them out of the ignorance and into the ilm. Here we stop where I'd like to bring you back to this slide number 1. Remember, Allah in this surah, using these 3 ayat, have combinedly guided us. Definitely under the parables and examples, definitely he has hidden the light and the guide within this ayat for those who pay attention. The people of logic and people of ilm and people of belief will see the light and the guidance in this ayat, inshallah.